Welcome to the Chef's Kitchen. I'm your host, Nicole Gaffney, and we're here today at PBS39 Studios at the Steel Stacks campus. And I've got the executive chef of Historic Hotel Bethlehem here, Michael Adams. How are you today?
I am great.
Well, thanks for being here. We've got all kinds of cool stuff. What are we making today?
We are going to prepare some duck and goat cheese spring rolls.
Neat.
And we're going to make a little bit of apricot strawberry compote with it. So we're going to start off with the cure for the duck legs. Mm-hmm. This minimum of 24 hours. So you want to do this the day before. Mm-hmm. And we start off with a little bit of brown sugar. Mm-hmm. And we're going to add coriander seed.
Love coriander seed.
We toasted these and the mustard seeds a little bit in a pan, light brown, just to bring out that true flavor in the coriander, little nuttiness in it. So we're going to add the coriander, and we're going to add the mustard seeds, and we're going to add salt. So it's this will do two things. You're adding flavor to the duck. You're also drawing out some of that blood from the ducks while allowing those flavors to go into the flesh. And then I'm going to tear up a couple of bay leaves, fresh bay leaves in here, and then some fresh thyme sprigs. So all we're going to do is we're going to mix that up a little bit.
It's almost like a dry brine.
Yeah, absolutely, a dry rub, yep. Mm-hmm. And then, so what you want to do is just lay this in a nice, even layer over the plate, and just make sure you get a little bit of bay leaf on each duck leg. Mm-hmm. And we'll kind of divide this up a little bit. And then all we're going to do is we're going to take the duck legs and we're going to press them down, flesh side down. Now, we don't want to cure the skin side of the duck. When we put it in the oven and cook it in its own fat, if you have the sugar coated on the duck fat, it's going to get bitter from the sugar. Mm-hmm. So you just want to just cure the duck legs like this. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take them from this point, and then we're going to cure those for 24 hours. Okay. So you want to do that in the refrigerator. And you
don't put anything on top of the skin, you just let it go like that?
Nothing on top of the skin. Now if you want to, you can wrap it. I actually like the, if you let the duck legs dry out in the refrigerator overnight, and when you pull it out, if you're going to serve a whole duck leg, and then you slowly roast it, it's just going to get super crispy. So
that's what traditional in the Asian restaurants, Chinese restaurants, they air dry the duck.
Yeah, and so kind of same concept there. We're going to start our apricot strawberry compote. We're just going to take the strawberries and we're going to dice these small dice.
All right.
And some of the apricots.
Now tell me a little bit about Historic Hotel Bethlehem.
We have two restaurants. Mm-hmm. We have our 1741 Terrace, and we have our tap room, which is a little more comfort food. Mm-hmm. 1741 is our fine dining restaurant. We try to keep things simple in the tap room, and then we do a little more complicated dishes in the terrace. Mm-hmm. But we'll serve a dish like this in both.
And how many rooms do you have at the hotel?
We have 128 rooms. We also have 14,000 square feet of banquet space.
Nice.
That we have our grand ballroom, and we have our newly renovated mural ballroom, and then we have some smaller rooms for some corporate functions.
It's a lot of space.
Yeah.
Do you do a lot of weddings?
We do. Mm-hmm. We do probably close to 100 weddings a year.
And I understand you do different bourbon dinners throughout the year?
So we do. In the fall, we typically do 2 or 3 specialty dinners. Last year we did a mead dinner, mm-hmm. Which was really great. We had some of the local apiaries come out, and the gentlemen make their own mead. And
really?
We incorporated that into some of the dishes. It was really neat. And our bourbon dinner, it was something that I haven't done before. Bourbon's a tough one, especially with food.
Sure.
And then to drink, 6 ounces of bourbon is, you come to one of those dinners and you stay overnight.
I was going to say, it's good that you have the hotel
yeah.
right there, so nobody's driving home after that.
So, but we always interesting things happening.
Stay tuned for more from the Hotel Bethlehem. We're back with more from the Hotel Bethlehem.
I love the little ice cream parlor that you have downstairs right by the shop.
Yeah, they just added that on about a year and a half ago, and it seems to be very popular. We sell espresso and cappuccino and really good coffee, and we have the gift shop, and so again, there's so many things happening at the hotel. Live music. So 3 nights a week we have live jazz, and we have piano players come in, and it draws a really great crowd.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I have to say too about that gift shop, it really is so much nicer than your typical hotel gift shop.
Yeah,
You've really done a great job with it.
The things that they offer are very unique, and,
Right.
and you really can't get them, anywhere else, on
Exactly.
Main Street and even perhaps in the Valley. So
It's not just suntan lotion and keychains.
right. So we're gonna start off with we're gonna make our compote here.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna mince a little bit of shallot.
And you chopped up these apricots too.
Yep, just a nice dice. Keep it consistent. And we're gonna start off by sweating the shallots a little bit by themselves, just to cook out that raw flavor. And then, so we're gonna get a little bit of. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little bit of this duck fat, so that we have ready for the confit. So I'm just gonna take a tablespoon of that.
I love how you carry that flavor over.
And we're just gonna sweat. We're gonna sweat the shallots a little bit in there.
Now, if you didn't have the duck fat to make duck confit,
You can use you can use melt butter down. You can use clarified butter. That would be the second best choice. We're gonna add some bay leaf again. A couple of sprigs of fresh thyme. And we're just gonna sweat that till it's translucent. And now we're gonna add the apricot. And we're gonna pull those sprigs and the bay leaf out at the very end.
Okay.
We're just gonna let that all cook together a little bit.
and why
So-
are you doing the apricot first?
So the apricot, just to absorb that flavor, they're dried, so we're
Right.
gonna just absorb all of those flavors with the bay leaf. So this is gonna add a really great dimension to the strawberry apricot compote. So I have some chamomile tea here, and we're just gonna steep that for a minute. And
It's not really a
it's gonna
flavor
be,
you see too often in food.
It's going to be just steep in there for a minute, and you only have to use like a tablespoon because it's very strong.
Okay.
And we're going to add that to the apricot and the strawberry. So now we're just going to cook that a little bit. Add the strawberries. Now at this point, we don't have to really cook it anymore.
All right.
So we're just going to leave that go. I'm going to shut the heat off, and we're going to just let that.
So you really want to retain those strawberries, the color and the texture of them.
Absolutely. So we're going to add a little bit of the chamomile tea. Now just about a tablespoon, because this is real strong. So this is going to add a nice floral flavor to the.
Oh, you can smell it.
Right? And then that marrying with the goat cheese and the fatty duck and all the good stuff, it's great.
Love
and
that.
we're going to add a little bit of honey.
Okay.
Just a touch. And we're gonna shut that heat off.
This is a great dish for spring, especially like you said, you do it with the rhubarb a lot.
Yep, the rhubarb, and you can substitute, other things if you like, other berries or other dried fruits. That's fine,
Right.
whatever it is you like. And then a little bit of red wine vinegar in there, just to give a little acidulated flavor to that. And then we're just gonna leave that set, so that's ready to go for the duck spring rolls.
Great.
We're gonna get back to the duck legs.
Okay.
So now that they've cured for 24 hours,
Right.
we're going to take those, and so what you want to do at this point is you want to rinse that cure off. You don't want to cook that into all of those flavors have already gone into the flesh. So I'm just going to take that over to the sink, and we're going to rinse that cure off. Otherwise, you're going to you're risking the chance of burning the duck.
Because of the sugar?
Correct. We'll pat them dry a little bit. We don't want the dilute the duck fat at all.
Right.
So we're just gonna put those right into the duck fat. Just like that.
This is like the one time in cooking when you don't want to hear a sizzle.
Correct. So we're just gonna submerge those. And again, just a fresh bay leaf in there.
And is it okay that they're not fully submerged?
Yeah, I mean, what's gonna happen is that duck is gonna render, you're gonna lose some of the water that's in there.
Right.
So it's just gonna, as it cooks, it's gonna come right over the top.
Is it possible to overcook that?
So you can overcook it.
Okay.
It will eventually dry out.
Right.
You know, if you leave it go 4 hours, it's definitely
Right.
going to have a dry texture.
Okay.
We're going to put those in the oven for 3 hours.
Stay tuned for more with Chef Michael Adams. We're back with more from the Hotel Bethlehem.
Okay, so they're cooking for 3 hours.
All right.
And let's see how they are. So as you can see, when we pull these out,
They shrunk quite a bit.
they did shrink, and so no caramelization, and they are going to just fall off the
Oh,
bone.
wow,
Do you feel
yeah.
that?
Yeah,
You're
I
gonna
mean-
press and they'll fall right apart.
For
So
sure.
we're just gonna pull those out of the hot duck fat and leave those chill for a minute.
Now, if you wanted to store these, you would just keep them right in the duck fat for later?
Absolutely. You can pull them out of the duck fat and then just let them cool down a little bit. Leave the duck fat melted. You know, put them back in, leave them in the fridge, and they'll hold for weeks.
Yeah.
Like they will hold for weeks.
Cool.
So then we have our duck leg confit.
Gorgeous.
So now for our next step, we're going to do the mixture for the duck spring roll.
Okay.
Now I need a stainless steel bowl
Oh, I
so
know
we
what
can
one
make
it is.
the goat cheese and duck confit mixture. Okay, so from this point, we are going to pull the duck meat off and try to get all that fat off, and of course, no bones. I mean,
No.
I would eat this just like this.
I thought you were going to say you were going to eat the bone.
Well, no, not today.
They're not that
You know
good.
what? Not any day. But we could eat it just like this, and it is so good.
Oh, man.
So this
I'm
is a little
actually gonna
hot.
Steal a piece if you don't mind.
Oh, by all means.
It's delicious.
So we're just going to take a little bit of this, the duck meat, and we're going to add some nice flavor to
Now,
the
this
spring
is
roll.
so much work going into something like a spring roll that a lot of other restaurants just take out of a prepackaged freezer bag
This
and throw
is
into
true.
a fryer.
I feel bad for them.
No, don't. Right, I feel bad for them too. But I just wanted to point out that you are making everything from scratch at your restaurants, and you really have a focus on kind of a farm-to-table thing.
Absolutely, and it's getting better. You know, the challenge with the hotel in the volume we do is getting enough product from
Sure.
the smaller farmers. So we're working on a collaboration of lots of small farmers over time, and some of them are asking what we want them to grow for us.
That's
And it's going
fantastic.
to happen over time. Nothing
Right.
happens overnight. We do get a lot of our ingredients from Lancaster Farm Fresh. Their focus is organics, so we
Great.
do get a lot of ingredients, organic cheeses from them.
Locally made cheeses?
Locally made cheeses.
Nice.
We get Chester County has some really nice dairy producers, and we get from Del Run Dairy and just incredible. And we
fantastic.
sell a ton of cheese plates in both of the restaurants.
And do you find there's more of a demand for the organics and for a locally sourced
I think
menu?
people like to know. I don't find that people come in and say, "Is this organic?"
Okay.
But we do advertise it on the items that are.
Nice.
And I think they do like to see it.
Sure.
And I think that's going to change over time. There's going to be a greater demand for it.
I agree. I
There
think
is a
it's already
greater demand.
happening.
Well, yeah, it's
Yeah.
already happening, but even more so as
Right.
we go down the road. So we just want to shred this up just a little bit. As you can see, we're just, breaking that up a little bit. It's best to do this when it's warm.
Okay.
It'll fall apart. If you chill it down, it's going to hold together. So
Right.
you definitely want to do this when it's warm. Okay. So if you wouldn't mind,
Sure.
crack one of the eggs, and then we can start
here?
the egg wash. Nope, right back in that bowl, and fork.
There you go.
And then just mix that up a little
You
bit.
got it? You want a little water in there or no?
Nope, just as is, just the egg. So we're going to mix a little bit of the goat cheese in here.
Can hear that oil heating up.
Yeah, it looks like it's just about ready.
And that's actually not
Perfect.
oil, it's duck fat, correct?
No, that is oil.
That is oil,
Yeah,
okay.
we're going to use a neutral oil for
wouldn't fry these in
There's
duck
so
fat.
much. Yeah, there's so much duck fat in there
Yeah.
already with the confit that you really don't need to You really don't need to add any more fat to it. So we're going to just do some freshly ground black pepper.
Now you're using goat cheese today. Could you use
Correct.
like a feta or another cheese?
Yeah, you can. I think goat cheese, because of the tartness it has with the sweet duck meat, I just think it's perfect for this.
Right.
But if you have a preference to feta, by all means,
Okay.
You can use it. I would say the feta is going to be too salty because the duck is
point.
already cured in the
Right.
salt, so that might make it a little too salty. I think, again, goat cheese would be the perfect perfect cheese for this dish.
It really does have such a unique flavor to it. There's not a whole lot that tastes much like it.
Absolutely. We're just going to take our spring roll wrappers here. And when you're working with spring roll wrappers, they tend to dry out really fast. So just have a damp towel with you. And I always throw away the first one because it's the outside layer. Keep a damp towel close by and just cover them with a damp towel. It'll keep them nice and moist and really easy to roll.
Kind of like working with phyllo dough.
Absolutely. All right, so we're going to take the goat cheese and the duck, and we're just going to put a little bit here, and the egg wash. Wonderful.
And these are made from flour, not rice, correct? The papers?
Correct.
Okay. Not a gluten-free item.
No, it is not.
Oh, that's fine with me.
Okay, so we're just going to roll this up like this.
It's like a burrito.
Correct. Just like that. And we have our spring roll. Now, when you're doing these, if you want to do them a few hours ahead of time, by all means, you can do that. And I would just suggest putting a piece of parchment paper down on a plate, and you can use a little cornstarch just to keep the spring roll crispy.
Okay.
Because they do have, with the goat cheese and the duck being so moist, you can't hold them much longer than 3 or 4 hours.
You don't want them to get soggy.
So you roll them in a little cornstarch.
Stay tuned for more from the Hotel Bethlehem. We're back with Chef Michael Adams of the Hotel Bethlehem.
Can I try rolling one?
Just absolutely.
Okay.
And let's do the egg wash. All right.
And just like that.
Just pull back.
Kind of like a
Nice
cigar.
and tight. Yeah. And a little right there.
How'd I do?
Great. Looks great. Okay. So now let's test the
That's a baby.
let's test the oil here and see
Okay.
where we're at. I'm just gonna put a little bit of sprig of thyme to see if it's ready. Yep.
Cool.
Looks like it's good to go. All right. So you can keep your fryer oil at 350.
All right.
And all we're going to do is,
Drop it
it
in
in.
real gently.
yep, just so it doesn't splash.
Now I notice you're using a really shallow pan here. Is that
So
recommended?
no, I would definitely
Okay.
get a deeper pan, especially if you're doing a large volume of
Okay.
these. Okay, so you see how they're starting to turn light brown there?
Yeah.
So as soon as they get to that point, we're just going to turn them over, and then we're going to cook them for about another 3 or 4 minutes.
Nice.
So you see how nice and golden brown they are?
Mine kind of turned itself. Did you see
It
that?
did.
Just
It
did a little
did.
rollover.
It did. Okay, so then we're just going to let those cook for 4 minutes.
Great. All right, these look great.
Yeah, they're nice and golden brown, and they are ready to pull out of that oil.
Perfect.
And we'll plate them up, and we're gonna leave that excess oil just drip off here in the napkins.
They look perfect.
You know what they say, practice does not make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect.
I have not
Did you
heard
ever
that
hear
one
that?
before. No, that's a
I
first.
made that one up. So let's go with the spring rolls here. So
Okay.
we're just gonna let them set for 30 seconds. So I like to even, in the restaurants, of course, we're gonna make the presentation a little more interesting. So I like to nip the ends off like
Oh,
that.
that's the best part.
Right? Well, you gotta make it look pretty. So we're just gonna do this, and we're gonna stand them straight up like that.
Let some of that heat out too, so you don't scorch your mouth when you bite into it.
And we have that one.
Nice.
Okay. So now we have the nice strawberry and apricot compote. That will go really nice with this.
It brings such nice color to the plate too. Love it. So let's bring it over to the table and have ourselves a taste. All right, these look awesome, but you have another little finishing touch you want to put on here?
We have some nice pea tendrils
Yum.
that were just harvested this morning.
Beautiful.
We get a nice crunchy dimension to it, and the pea flavor will
Yeah.
marry well with everything. Just kind of,
So pretty, too.
yeah, looks nice.
It's like a little flower on the plate.
All right.
Take a fork.
You know what?
Just going to go for it?
I'm not even going to do the fork.
I got to get some of this on. The strawberry and the apricot and that little bit of vinegar in there, really nice complement to it, and the goat cheese.
Delish.
I'm going to be making my way over to Historic Hotel Bethlehem very soon to have some more of these. Thank you for being with us today, and we'll see you here on the Chef's Kitchen again soon.
Thank you so much.
The Lehigh Valley's premier hotel, Historic Hotel Bethlehem, is perfect for any stay, offering 2 restaurants by notable chef Michael Adams, 1741 on the Terrace, an upscale dining experience, and the Tap Room, a casual restaurant. Guests enjoy 24-hour room service, along with the Shop at Hotel Bethlehem, featuring Penn State Creamery ice cream, and offering the finest in accessories. 2 beautiful ballrooms and ample meeting space make Historic Hotel Bethlehem the place to host your next event. Stay with us at Historic Hotel Bethlehem and feel at home.